Breaking news. America's economic relief package you've been waiting for has finally cleared its biggest hurdle. Yes, you read that right. Bernie Sanders' long-fought stimulus bill just passed through the Senate, and President Trump has already signaled he will sign it immediately. However, what the mainstream media isn't telling you is that these aren't just ordinary stimulus checks. They are being dubbed refund checks and could be hitting your bank account as early as this month. What does this mean for your family? Who qualifies, and how much could you receive? Stay tuned because I am breaking down everything you need to know about this historic bipartisan achievement in great detail. Before diving into all the specifics regarding these refund checks, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss any critical financial updates like this one. Also, smash that like button if you're excited about the possibility of receiving a refund check this March. Now, let's get into what this bill actually signifies for everyday Americans like you and me. The political landscape in Washington has long been characterized by gridlock, but something remarkable happened yesterday that few saw coming. After months of intense negotiations and high-stakes political maneuvering, Senator Bernie Sanders' Economic Relief for American Families Act passed through the Senate with a surprising 68-32 vote. This unexpected bipartisan support not only highlights the dire economic conditions many Americans currently face but also forces lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to finally take decisive action. What makes this bill unique is that it represents an unusual alliance between progressive Democrats, led by Sanders, and the Trump administration. Although these two political forces have rarely seen eye to eye, they discovered common ground on the need for immediate direct economic relief. President Trump, who has consistently positioned himself as a champion for working-class Americans since his election victory, quickly endorsed the bill on social media, calling it a tremendous win for hardworking citizens who deserve their money back from Washington. So, what exactly does this bill include? At its core, the legislation authorizes a new round of direct payments to American households, officially termed Economic Recovery Refund payments. Unlike previous stimulus efforts during the pandemic, these payments are being framed differently. The administration is referring to them as refunds rather than stimulus payments, suggesting that this is money rightfully belonging to taxpayers and is now being returned as opposed to being a simple government handout. Political analysts argue that this terminology shift is strategically significant. For Sanders, it acknowledges his long-standing position that working Americans deserve a larger share of the nation's prosperity. While for Trump, it aligns with his campaign promise to return money to taxpayers and stimulate the economy through increased consumer spending rather than expansive government programs. Now, let's address the key question on your mind: how much money could you receive? According to the bill's final language, eligible adults will receive $1,200, with an additional $500 allotted for each dependent. This means that a family of 4 could receive up to $3,400 in total. Although these amounts might seem familiar, mirroring the first round of COVID-19 stimulus payments from 2020, there are notable differences in eligibility that will be explained further. You might wonder why this payment is happening now when many expected the economy to have already recovered. The truth is that while certain economic indicators have improved, many Americans continue to grapple with inflation that has far outpaced wage growth, and housing costs in many regions remain prohibitively high. Recent economic data also shows that consumer spending has slowed significantly, and this bill represents a clear acknowledgement from Washington that many households require immediate financial relief. In terms of qualification, income thresholds for these refund checks are similar to those of previous stimulus programs. Individuals earning up to $75,000 annually will receive the full amount, with payments gradually phasing out for those earning up to $99,000. For married couples filing jointly, the full payment is available for incomes up to $150,000, phasing out at $198,000. However, unlike earlier stimulus programs, this bill includes a work requirement provision. Recipients must have reported earned income in the previous tax year, a compromise that was crucial in securing Republican support. Another significant question is when you will actually receive your money. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen announced this morning that the IRS is already preparing to distribute the first wave of payments. Direct deposits could begin as early as March 15, with paper checks to follow in the subsequent weeks. If you've received previous government payments via direct deposit, you will likely receive this payment in the same manner without needing to take any additional action. Yet, this bill isn't solely about direct payments. It also encompasses several other provisions that could have a long-lasting impact on American families. For example, there is a temporary expansion of the child tax credit, raising it from $2,000 to $3,000 per child, with an extra $600 for children under 6. This measure was a key priority for Sanders and progressive Democrats, who have long advocated for more robust support for families with children. Additionally, the bill allocates $50 billion for infrastructure projects, specifically targeting rural and underserved communities. This aspect was critical in securing the support of moderate senators from both parties, representing states with significant infrastructure needs. Projects under this allocation will focus on expanding broadband access, improving roads, and upgrading water systems, thereby creating jobs while addressing long-neglected infrastructure issues. Some critics have expressed concerns about how this spending will impact the national debt. According to the bill's supporters, several revenue-generating provisions, such as a temporary stock buyback tax on corporate entities and adjustments to certain corporate tax deductions, are included to offset the costs. However, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that these measures will cover only about 60% of the bill's cost, meaning that approximately $175 billion will be added to the deficit. This fiscal shortfall raises important questions about whether this policy represents sound economic strategy or merely political maneuvering ahead of the midterm elections. Economists remain divided. Proponents argue that putting money directly into consumers' hands will stimulate spending and boost economic growth during a critical period. While critics contend that the economy might not require further stimulus and that these funds could be more effectively directed toward long-term investments or debt reduction. One particularly noteworthy aspect of this legislation is the unusual political alliance it has fostered. Progressive Democrats and Trump Republicans have been seen celebrating together, while even fiscal conservatives from both parties have expressed reservations. Senator Mitch McConnell, who ultimately voted against the bill, nonetheless acknowledged that extraordinary times sometimes demand extraordinary measures, indicating that political pressures have indeed shifted significantly. Looking ahead, this legislation raises questions about the future of economic policy in America. Some political analysts suggest that direct payments to citizens could become a more regular feature of federal economic policy, while others view this measure as a one-time response to the specific pressures of our current economic environment. The ultimate impact of this program will likely influence how future policies are crafted. When it comes to using this money once it arrives, financial advisors recommend prioritizing immediate needs such as catching up on rent or mortgage payments, covering utilities, and meeting other essential expenses. If your basic needs are already secured, consider paying down high-interest debt or, if you are in a stable financial situation, building your emergency fund or making targeted investments for your future. An important question many viewers have asked is whether this payment will affect your taxes next year. The good news is that, like previous stimulus payments, these refund checks are not considered taxable income. You will not need to report them on your tax return, nor will they reduce any refund you might otherwise receive, which was a key provision both parties insisted on including in the final legislation. It is also important to note that this bill managed to pass despite significant procedural obstacles. Senate rules typically require 60 votes to overcome a filibuster, a threshold that has stalled many bills in recent years. But leadership from both parties agreed to limited debate and an up or down vote in light of the urgent need for economic relief. This rare procedural cooperation underscores the substantial political pressure to act. Moreover, if you have moved or changed bank accounts since your last tax filing, the IRS has set up a dedicated portal on their website where you can update your information to ensure you receive your payment without delay. A link to this portal will be provided in the description below. If you do not receive your payment automatically, you will be able to claim it when you file your 2025 taxes. As always, I remain committed to bringing you the latest economic and political news that directly affects your wallet. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button, share this update with friends and family who might benefit, and drop a comment below telling me how you plan to use your refund check. Don't forget to subscribe for more timely financial updates. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.